And so I knew that was like years and years. It's like many light years away from where I was at the time. So, okay, whatever. I just aspired. I was really inspired by him. I was like, I want to be like that someday. So again, a few months later, about 6 months into my practice, the Texas Regional Championship is happening. And I'm from Dallas. So a lot of the folks in the Dallas studio were like getting pumped up, and you know, like some of the friends, I made whole new friends, and I think my life was changing. You know, I made yoga friends, very healthy friends, and they were all going to the competition. Screw it, I'll go. You know, I don't care how I do, I just want to go. And I went to the competition, and I placed last. And then out of like 12 men, I was like at the end of the line after when they're calling the names in order, because they did it in sequential order on the scores, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm last, whatever. My friend and myself, the guy who went with me, we both placed last, but we didn't care, we had a good time. I mean, like, I didn't really expect to place in the top three. I couldn't even touch my head to my knee, and like standing bow was, I don't know what it was. It was off the charts. So whatever. It was just that the fact that I got to finally stand on stage with a bunch of healthy-looking bodies and like buff dudes and feel like, wow, I'm athletic now. You know, like first time, 19, 20 years of my life, I'm athletic. You know, and after that first year, I started to come off all my medication, and I haven't taken any medication in the last 5 years, not even an aspirin. And it's amazing. So the following year, you know, I just kept looking forward to the competition. And the guy who was the regional champion in Texas went on to become national champion, went on to become international champion. That was super inspiring because I was like, I want to be like him. So then like 3 years later, I'm just like still motivating myself to be like that other guy, to be like this guy. And my practice just kept evolving with that. And it wasn't until the last few years when I made it to the Nationals that I really started to get serious about my training. And it's funny because I never competed to win. I just competed for myself, you know, to give myself the chance to do something, a physical competition where I can feel proud of myself for working really hard, you know. And just kept competing and competing. And like 3 years ago, it was my first time in nationals or in internationals, and I placed second in internationals, and that was so exciting for me. And then the following year, not this past year, but last year again, I go to international level as U.S. champion, and I place second again. And so this year, finally, you know, I go again as national champion, and I place first. Yay! And just doing the championships itself was a struggle, not only physically, but also emotionally and mentally and spiritually, because towards the last few years of my competing, I was starting to get just very into my head. You know, when I walk on stage, I wanted to perform, and I wanted to look good, and to look perfect, and to do my best. And I think that's always what held me back. And this year, I had a dramatic moment on the stage. I don't know if you guys, did you watch the international championships, both days? So on the semifinals, being the three-time national champion, two-time silver medal champion of the world, everybody that week is, you're going to win this year. You're going to win this year. So I get all this into my head, you know, I have to win, I have to win, you know, I have to win. People are going to be so disappointed if I don't win, you know, like I can't get second place again because like 3 times you're out, you know, like. And that first day at the semifinals, I go on stage, and I go on stage with all this in my mind. All these thoughts in my mind, like people expecting me to win, and I'm putting this pressure on myself to win. My focus is totally out the window. So I go on stage and do standing hit to knee, and I'm like a little shaky, but I do it. Got it. Doing standing bow, and all of a sudden my focus is everywhere. I see the guy on the computer on the side of the stage, and I see the spotlight in the corner. And I hear the click of a camera, and the next thing I know, I fall. I fall out of standing bow. And it just hit me like, wow, I've worked 6 years for this championship to fall out right now because I'm distracted. And it just, like, at that instant, I was just like, okay, shake it off. Do the rest of your routine. Don't let the judges take anything off of your score. You can still make it. And I made it. I placed 7th in the semifinals. Somehow I made it to the internationals. So when I went to the internationals the night before, my coach, a gentleman by the name of Jim Callie, he always coached me, never really too much on my physical body or my physical practice. He always coached me on my mind, on the Raja Yoga, and the real purpose of yoga. he looked at me and he told me, he's like, you know, what do you expect? You know, if you lose, do you think people are going to like you less? You know, do you think your friends are going to dump you? You know, what is the pressure? You know, just remove the pressure. And he's like, I want you to go back to your hotel room and don't even think about this. Just spend time with your girlfriend. Here's a movie you guys can watch. It's The Way of a Peaceful Warrior. It's one of my favorite books. I'm like, okay, fine, Jim. He's like, don't even do any of it. Just go to your room and get this pressure off. So I did that. And that final day when I went on stage, I just realized that, you know what, I'm going to do this for myself. I don't care what people think. You know, like their expectations really have affected my journey, you know, and helped to push me. But at this point, I don't care anymore. This is purely for myself and for what this yoga has done to me, how much it's changed my life. You know, think back about all the weight I lost over 50 pounds, okay. I had a heart attack, my heart's healthier than ever. My arthritis is in remission, I don't take medication. I was thinking all this before I went on stage. And you know what, and I looked at the crowd, and in my own way, I was like, you guys are not here. I don't care. I'm gonna go up there and just do this for me. And I went up there, and I was doing my routine. And halfway through it, the posture I dislike the most, you can probably tell, rabbit pose. I hate rabbit pose. Because I used to have a big belly, so it's in the way. But still, I feel that way. And it was in rabbit pose that I finally took a deep breath. And I was like, wait a minute, I can breathe. Never in my routine, for 6 years of competing, practicing thousands of times a year this routine, I had never been able to breathe in rabbit pose. I mean, I always feel like change, okay, rabbit's over, you know? And so I was able to breathe. And I realized at that moment, whoa, I haven't had a single thought since I began. It's just been flowing. And that was probably the first time in my whole life, and yoga life, that I've had complete awareness. And it was only for those 3 minutes. And after I realized that during rabbit pose, well, I'm only halfway, so just turned the mind off, took a deep breath, and kept going. And I finished and I walked off stage, and I felt like somebody was carrying me the whole time throughout my demonstration. Like all the transitions from the handstands to the peacocks and all. I didn't feel like I had any effort. It was like somebody was carrying me. And I think that's just present awareness that was carrying me. And so I walked off stage, and it just felt really good. It was, whatever happens, happens. And then they called my name when they were calling out the champions, and I finally won. So it's been a long journey. And that's, I'm sorry, I talked a lot. I think the biggest thing I've learned from the competition and from this practice of yoga is that with faith in yourself, and especially faith in something as disciplined as this yoga, that anything is really possible. Anything.